open. All of those things have to get cleaned up.
Patterson to throw on first down. Looking. Scrambles out of the pocket. Delivers. And it's caught. Ronnie Bell down the sideline. First play of the game. And the Wolverines come up big. Down inside the 10 and a flag.
Good start. Pretty good start.
And they'll run it. Man, he fumbled. Mason. Wisconsin has it. Same story for the Wolverines.
And welcome into Views from the Sideline. It is Tuesday, September 24th, 2019. That was just a snippet of the Michigan-Wisconsin game this past weekend. Not a good showing for those Wolverines.
Understatement.
Oh, hey, Malik. And what a joy it is to be joined in the studio today with my co-host, Malik Hill. Joey's here too, but we're more focused on Malik right now. We're going to get into some Michigan, get into some MSU, talk more some college football, talk about pro football. But I know last week on the show, we all kind of anticipated a Wisconsin win. We didn't anticipate Michigan to get... How did you so lovingly put it before the show started, Malik?
Embarrassed?
A certain type of embarrassment.
Oh, Wisconsin pulled their pants down and whooped them in front of the whole nation. Yeah. They pulled the belt out. They went old school. They almost pulled the paddle out. If they scored over 40, it probably would have been a paddle whooping. Yeah, it was an old school Big Ten butt whooping.
If Jonathan Taylor didn't sit out in the second quarter.
143 in the first quarter.
He would have had a career day.
He might have broken the record for most rushing yards in a game if they let him. Yeah.
But yeah, so we're going to jump. Joey, you got anything you want to say to the people before we just get right into it?
No.
Hey, man, those Spartans, 28-point win.
You didn't even say hi to the people.
Yeah.
You just
Northwestern isn't as good as they were.
That's
Joey,
true.
we need more energy out of you right now.
They look a little off.
Oh, yeah. People shouldn't go crazy over that game, but we'll get to that. Yeah.
All right. So Michigan, they got rolled 35-14.
But it was much worse
in Madison.
than that.
It was much worse than that. They were down 35-0 at one point. So what has become a weekly tradition for the Views from the Sideline crew, it is what's going on with Malik, the daily Malik update.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I'm actually great right now. I'm not sad. I'm not sad in any way whatsoever. At this moment, I might be sad later when I start to think about it more again.
Do you think?
But I'm okay right now.
Do you think if you say you're not sad so many times, you're not actually going to be sad anymore?
Hey, let's just get to the game, man. You don't have to turn up the volume, man.
All right, continue though. So
but from the snap, they had one good play. It looked like things might be going well, and then Jim Harbaugh made another. He made a decision. He made a decision to put in Ben Mason, who was a fullback last year, but he's a converted defensive tackle now. Hasn't had a single carry all year through the first 3 games. He puts in Ben Mason for the goal line package out of nowhere. Of course he fumbles because he doesn't run the ball anymore. He's not a running back. He's not a fullback. He plays on defense, fumbles. We're almost at 10 fumbles for the season through 3 games. Nice. Then from that point, Wisconsin, like I said, they just started playing old school 70s, 80s, 90s Big Ten football. We're going to run it up the middle, and there's nothing you can do about it. Our offensive line is going to push you back and knock you over. Jonathan Taylor, nobody touched him on his first long run when they first put 7 on the board. It was like a 60-yard touchdown run. Nobody touched him. Michigan gets it back. Weird play calls. Bad play by the offensive line again.
I felt like the entire game, Jonathan Taylor never got touched by Michigan's defensive line. I felt like it was always a defensive back, linebacker, something to that extent.
I don't think Jack Cohn ever got hit by a defensive lineman. I think once.
Can't remember.
Once in the third quarter, I remember he got hit, but he made a great throw on 4th down, like when they got near the red zone. But besides that, clean pocket, extremely clean. Wisconsin is known for having great offensive lines, but this was a nightmare.
And another
this was a nightmare.
Going back to that first fumble, I'd like to think in the preview, like when we previewed the season talking about Michigan, one of the things that we said the most was that I know they have Zach Charbonnet, who we expected big things out. He was a little banged up, I guess, early in the game. But one of the things we noted is how deep their running back core is. I don't understand why they put in a converted defensive tackle in.
True Wilson is hurt. I don't know. Maybe they don't trust Christian Turner right now. Hassan Haskins has been like thrown back and forth between linebacker and running back, so they don't know what to do with him. They can't really trust Ben Van Sumeren. They put him in once, and he just didn't look ready at all. So, yeah, it's looking bad right now, and that's not even the worst part. It's Jim Harbaugh is probably going to have to go after this season.
Probably? What land are you on and you think it's probably? Dude should have been fired yesterday. Stop it, Malik. Let's stop sugarcoating it.
Fired yesterday.
Let's stop sugarcoating it. Cutting it.
He is probably he's probably going to be fired at the end of the season.
You know what's going to happen?
He deserves to be
what's
fired.
going to happen? He's going to step away. They're not going to fire him. He's going to step away from the program.
But my point is, I think that he's nothing close to the coach he was when he first came to Michigan.
He's a failure.
He's nothing close to the coach he was.
He's a failure, Malik.
He is. And listen.
All the stuff he talked about when he first took over this job.
He didn't talk about. Everybody else talked about stuff when he first got the job. What did he talk about? He came in just wanting to coach Michigan. Everybody put the expectations on it when he came in. He had a great first year. Second year, Ohio State disappointment. Injuries next year, 8-5. Last year, another disappointment. I think
3 straight years of disappointment.
His confidence has just completely left. He has no will to like fight anybody.
He doesn't care about Michigan football anymore. He wants to get back to the NFL. Okay, he cares. He cares
about Michigan football.
Yeah.
I don't really know if he even wants to coach after this.
He does.
I think this job has killed a lot of his confidence and his will to coach football.
Maybe in the college ranks, but
listen, his first few years at Michigan, he was running up and down the sidelines, screaming at coaches, screaming at referees. He was in the game.
When the going gets tough, he doesn't like it. That's what it is.
He was making great calls, and he was doing really good those first years.
He doesn't thrive under the pressure.
He used to.
Not anymore.
He not anymore. And looking at it now, his hire of Josh Gaddis was pure desperation. He was a head coach that completely lost confidence in everything he was doing. And he said, I can't trust myself anymore. I'll take anything.
When you can't trust yourself, it's done.
I will take this guy from Alabama that's never called plays and never been an offensive coordinator. His ideas sound nice. Speed and space. Yeah, that sounds cool. We have talent. We can play fast. Take it, Josh. I can't do it anymore. At this point, he said yesterday in a press conference that he's still hands off on everything. He wants the coaches around him to control what they're doing. Jim, he doesn't trust himself that much anymore, and it's clear. It's sad. It was a sad result Saturday. This will probably be a sad ending to his tenure as the Michigan head football coach.
I can't wait.
Just depressing all around.
I can't wait till he's gone. Nothing but a disappointment. Malik's sad. Sorry, I got him in a bad mood.
I was okay at the start of this.
He was okay. I've gotten him down. I've beaten him down.
Next week they got Rutgers, and then they have Iowa at home and Illinois. So these next 3 games could boost their confidence,
or
if they play well.
Totally destroy it, and they lose to one of those teams.
They could lose. Iowa's a good team. They could lose to Iowa. Iowa
they could lose
always
to
gives
Rutgers
them problems.
at this point.
Come on, man. Why are you doing this?
They could.
Rutgers.
Did you see what they put out there on the field last weekend?
Rutgers is one of the worst teams.
Like I said, did you see what they put out there last weekend, Malik?
Yes,
anything can happen with this team. It would not surprise me if Rutgers
I think
beat
they're
them
going to win. I don't think they're going to blow them out because Rutgers got better from last season. But I think they're still going to win.
It's going to be a close game. I got Michigan by 3 points.
I got Michigan by 14, 28-14.
Michigan will win the game handily.
Yeah,
handily, Joe. Handily, Joe.
Yeah.
I hope what you're saying is true.
Just because Wisconsin is a very high caliber team. They're
the best team in the Big Ten West.
They got stomped, but
I hate when they separated.
It's basically it's going to be Wisconsin, Ohio State in the Big Ten at this point. But I don't think that Michigan's that bad.
But yeah, the days of like 2016 when they beat Rutgers 78-0. Those days are gone. That's the Jim Harbaugh we miss, where he used to stomp on people and just
now he rolls
annihilate
over.
teams.
He rolls over to the Badgers of Wisconsin.
He absolutely rolls over. He has no fire. He has no grit. It's gone.
Maybe he's been eating chicken.
Maybe it's the khakis. Maybe it's those damn khakis.
Let's just preview Michigan Rutgers real quick. Unless there's anything else you want to bring up about last week.
28-14 Michigan. I think they get a few big plays out of the offense. Nothing crazy. And I think Rutgers has enough talent to make a few big plays. Last year they broke a few big plays against Michigan. I'll say 28-14. Nothing that's going to make the fan base happy, but they're going to win.
34-31 Michigan.
Jesus. 31 points? Oh my.
What if it happens? Joe, you got Michigan winning handily.
Yeah.
Do you think they can score over like 35?
No.
Against
Their
Middleton,
offense just seems oddly out of whack, and
it does.
It feels like they just don't know what they want to do for play calling.
Yeah.
And that's the confusing part for me. But I just think like at this point, just the talent level between them and Rutgers is it's too big of a difference. Like even if they have a bad game, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. Against Middle Tennessee, they were rolling for a good 4 possessions, and they just were scoring touchdowns, but the turnovers were the problem. Without the turnovers, they probably would have scored yesterday if it wasn't for that fumble on the first possession. That first fumble completely killed every bit of momentum Michigan could have had. So I don't know how they stop the turnovers. It just keeps happening. Maybe you maintain Zach Charbonnet running the ball for a drive and don't just switch out to a random back and say, yeah, you take over right here when we need it the most. Yeah.
Anything else you want to get off your chest, Malik, before we move on to the Spartans, the real good, the good football team in the state of Michigan?
Are they?
You really want to do that?
Yeah.
Are they? Is there a good football team in the state of Michigan right now?
Central?
Is there?
How's Central doing?
Are you sure?
Oakland Club football, are they doing okay so far?
Okay, moving on to Michigan.
Does Antonio Brown still have years of eligibility?
He just enrolled for online classes.
That's what I'm saying. Does he have eligibility?
That's why I said it.
MSU, they bounced back. They beat Northwestern at Northwestern 31-3. They looked good bouncing back. It was a big win for them. Had to get that monkey off their back. What did you guys see from this one, Joe?
I didn't see a whole lot.
Why?
I was watching the Michigan-Wisconsin game.
That was such an aggressive why.
Yeah.
Why? Why, Joe?
But once you notice that Michigan State got up ahead, then there wasn't much to watch. But honestly, like, they still have some of the same problems. Their offense worked a little bit better, but their offensive line still struggled a little bit. I do like that they've now, I think, like fully solidified Elijah Collins as their running back. He seems to be working well. Lewerke had a pretty decent game. And I mean, their defense just holds them in games like this. Like, they can stop any of these smaller Big Ten schools. But their offense just is kind of similar to Michigan, where it's just kind of inconsistent and it's weird. And I just don't think they'll be able to compete with the higher ups of the Big Ten.
Yeah, they have an upcoming stretch where if their offense does not respond, it might get ugly. This Indiana game next week at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need to really build confidence and like impress against Indiana. And Indiana has challenged them very hard the past 2 or 3 years. They need to win that game because you got Ohio State coming up, you got Penn State coming up. That's a tough stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they got to figure out something because that coaching staff might have too much confidence coming out of that Northwestern game, and they might think we figured a lot of things out. Maybe we can just do that. No. You can't just do this.
Mm-hmm.
You still need more creativity. You still need to produce big plays somehow with a weak offensive line. They got to figure it out.
Yeah, and like we've said, I think we said it a little bit in the last show, like Michigan State's got to worry about their head coach too because, he might be up on the outs if
you
they
really
struggle
think?
more. I think so, just because of the way that he's behaved lately.
Exactly.
Like, just because of the way his character, his demeanor has been, I think a lot of people are concerned about it because people keep trying to make suggestions for him and not necessarily telling him how to do his job, but I think that's how he's taking it, and he's just not taking it well, and he doesn't want to make any changes, doesn't feel like he needs to make any changes when there are clearly problems with the program. And I think that's kind of a big thing for Michigan State, and that's kind of why they've been stuck in this little somewhat middle ground, a little bit above problem that they've been in. So I would say that his job should be in question at least.
Yeah, it's a bit of a power struggle because you can see the look on his face in press conferences and even when he's on the sideline. He wants to do what he's always done that's helped him win games at Michigan State. And now that people are criticizing him for doing what he's always done, he's starting to get pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
But fans have a reason to get pissed off when the product on the field is what it's been like 2 out of the last 3 years or 3 out of the last 4 years. It's either pretty good or below average, and it needs to be more than that. He could have done a lot to raise that program up higher to a higher standard, and he just hasn't done it. So.
Yeah, it's like he hasn't been able to necessarily adapt to the changes in the system and things like that. So that's kind of the biggest concern for Michigan State. Yeah, they looked pretty good against Northwestern, but Northwestern doesn't look as good as they were previous years. So like Malik said, these next couple games will be some big tests for them.
College football, other than Michigan State, what kind of stood out from you this weekend, Malik?
More true freshman quarterbacks playing every week through injuries and just winning jobs, which is crazy. Maybe one of the craziest games in the past decade, maybe the past 20 years of college football, UCLA, Washington State.
I know it was crazy,
easily.
But over the past 20 years?
Washington State was up 49-17 in the third quarter. UCLA won 65-62. I mean, Anthony Gordon threw 570 yards and nine touchdown passes. This isn't a video game. This is real life. Stuff like that doesn't happen. And he did that in a losing effort. Like, how do you maintain that type of cushion to a team that was pretty horrible? UCLA has been trashed the past few weeks. And all of a sudden, they just get a spark. And Chip Kelly looks like his old self out of nowhere. I mean, it was absolute insanity. Kick returns. Washington State fumbled like 3 times in 2 quarters, and it all led to scores. Big passing plays. It was all over the place. A lot of game-winning plays in this week. A lot of crazy games. Yeah, it's good. The games are going to start getting a lot better these next few weeks now that conference play is here.
Joe?
I would just say Auburn, Texas A&M. Bo Nix is still doing solid for that team. I don't know. I think he's just a big surprise. And it goes along with like Malik's statement of the true freshman quarterbacks and stuff like that. Other than that, there's kind of a lot of blowouts. So not much. I didn't watch a whole lot of college this weekend, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I didn't watch a whole lot of football this weekend, so unfortunately. That's a bad weekend when you don't get to watch a lot of football. Before we move on to pro football, preview Indiana for Michigan State. Is this going to be a good one, or is it a trap game, Malik?
It could definitely be a trap game because, like I said, Indiana has played them tough for the past few years. And I think they did beat Michigan State once in Indiana, didn't they? I'm pretty sure Indiana beat them once.
Yeah.
And they've scared them like 2 or 3 other times.
Was that 2 years ago? I can't remember.
I think so. It might have been it was the 3-9 year.
Yeah.
It was the 3-9 year. And they've scared Michigan the past 3 years too. So you can never take Indiana lightly. They're always going to play creatively against you. They're going to end up making big plays, and they're going to play tough. They always play hard. So D'Antonio better be ready, and he better be ready for the scrutiny. If they only win by like a point or 2, or if they lose, he can't be defensive. He can't have excuses. They better be ready because Michigan State is supposed to be the better team in this matchup, and no excuses. You win this game, and you go into those Penn State and Ohio State games mentally prepared.
Yeah.
Wait, before we move to NFL,
yeah.
Georgia Notre Dame was the biggest matchup of the weekend. I'm surprised
that was a good game.
I'm surprised Notre Dame played as well as they did.
Yeah.
Their defense showed up. I didn't think their defense would play that well.
I thought it was going to be a blowout.
But Georgia got a really good win against a really good team. I think they only have a chance of losing against maybe one other team for the rest of the season, and then it's Bama and the SEC championship again. So
yeah.
I think it might be smooth sailing for Georgia through most of the season.
Okay. Let's move on to NFL Week 3 recap. We'll get into our picks here in a second. Start off with the first game on the docket that we talked about. Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Titans don't look good. Mariota is garbage. Jaguars My gosh,
Hey, man,
I love their quarterback.
That first week was a lot of a fluke. Marcus Mariota's going to have his good games, but he's also going to play below average for a lot of the season. And this is just another example. And this is a game they really needed. They needed this division win with the Jaguars not having their starting quarterback. But yeah, you're right.
What do you guys think about Gardner Minshew, though?
I
love that dude.
First of all, he's a rock star, first of all.
I said he's solid. He's a solid quarterback.
Yeah, he's like a 6th round pick, but he can throw the ball. He's smart. His personality is the biggest reason why people are loving him so much. The stash, the way he dresses, the way he carries himself. It's exciting to see. But yeah, when he plays, he has confidence. He understands the system. The team trusts him. So yeah, the Jaguars, they'll be okay. They probably won't be.
Who will
really
finish
good.
the season with a better record, the Titans or the Jaguars?
I think the Titans probably.
Really?
I think they could both hover around like 7 or 8 wins, but I still think the Titans could end up being a better team.
Do you think Ramsey's going to get traded like another week and he's still a Jacksonville Jaguar? There's rumors that Jacksonville declined a massive offer from Baltimore, but there's no substance if it's completely true. Do you think Jalen finishes the season a Jaguar?
I think so.
Yeah,
because I think what Jacksonville has done in the last couple of weeks, like they've kind of started to turn a corner, and like Gardner Minshew's been playing well, and I think that this team has maybe convinced Jalen that they still have a good chance to make a wild card, make the playoffs, and do something just because of their defense. And I also think that they, as an organization, feel that way too, and they don't want to just let Jalen go when they think they might have a chance to make some noise later in the season as the season goes on. Because they still have a lot of offensive weapons. Their offense just hasn't really been clicking yet. And their defense is still top-notch as far as talent goes.
All right, moving on. Lions at Eagles. Talk about a stunner. I did not think the Lions were going to win this game. Yes, Philadelphia was injured, but the Lions go into Philly, and they get the win. It's a big-time win. Yeah. Joey, how do you feel across the desk?
The Lions are still undefeated. I like it. Seeing Jamal Agnew, it was funny because him getting a 100-yard kick return touchdown, I thought was really weird because earlier in the week I was thinking, I don't know how I feel about Agnew. Like, as a return man, he just never seems to really make any crazy plays or anything. And then he busts out and gets the first touchdown, kick return touchdown of the year. And, the team still is struggling at points. Their offense is still trying to figure things out, but they've looked solid. I think their defense is still holding them up. We saw Philadelphia kind of stack the box against Kerryon Johnson, which is interesting. And we still stuck to the run game, even though it was pretty much garbage.
Good old Patricia play calls.
I think he was
and Darrell Bevel too.
I think he had 20 attempts for like 31 yards, but he got a touchdown. We used all 3 tight ends in the game, I believe. So it's interesting to see that they're shaking things up.
Who is the third tight end? I saw him playing. I had no idea who he was.
Was it Luke Thomas?
I've never heard that name.
Logan
before.
Thomas. He's
Logan Thomas.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Logan Thomas. Okay. Yeah, because it's former Seattle backup. Yeah. So our tight ends are good. I'm concerned though that like Hawkinson has only been targeted once in the past 2 games. Each game, I think he's got 1 target and 1 catch or something. Whereas in the first game, he had such a big game. I saw another thing today too, that the Lions are the first team to have 4 different players with 100 yards and a touchdown or something. That's been Amendola, Galladay, Marvin Jones, and Hawkinson. So definitely the weapons are there. I think it's just a thing of just still figuring out chemistry and play calling. And they're on the up and up. I'm not going to go crazy. Not going to drink all the Kool-Aid. But I like where the team's sitting. They won the games that they needed to. Chargers were injured. They needed to win that game. Philadelphia.
Did they win the games they need to?
Yeah.
What about week 1?
They didn't lose.
Stop.
So, and we know that Minnesota and Green Bay and Chicago, they're going to have to play those same teams. And by that time, we'd assume that the Chargers are going to be healthy. Philadelphia is going to be healthy. Now, maybe not for the Packers because the Packers are playing the Eagles this Thursday. And and it looks like Deshaun Jackson is still probably going to be out. Alshon Jeffrey might come back, but because it's a short week, you never know. But those teams will have to face the Chargers and Eagles when they're at a better state than the Lions did. So to get those wins now is nice. And obviously this week, the Lions get their biggest test of the season. They'll play the Chiefs. And they get them at home. So there is a small chance that the Lions can pull this out.
Joe, there's zero chance.
The Lions have a lot of weapons. Kansas City has a lot of weapons. It's going to be a shootout. It has to be against – anytime you play Kansas City, it's going to be a shootout. Their secondary is not all that good. The Lions have a lot of deep threat weapons. There's always a chance.
Pat Mahomes might throw 5 touchdown passes in the first half.
The first quarter.
He might. He totally might. This is a game where
You think Matt Stafford is going to raise?
He's going to match Patrick Mahomes.
I think this is a game.
That's what might have to happen.
Yeah, and I think this is a game that we need Matthew Stafford to do. Like, come out and go back to the old days of just slinging the ball around all the time.
Is Patricia going to allow him to sling the ball around?
Key thing you just said is the old days.
Yeah.
Those days might be gone.
Because they don't want to do that because they want to run. But like this day and age in the NFL, you need to be able to kind of sling the ball.
I don't think Patricia's going to do that. You know, I think what's going to happen is they're going to try to slow down the game.
Right.
They're going to try to run the ball more so than pass the ball.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a misplay by Patricia.
If they get an early lead, I'd be okay with that. But most of the time against Kansas City, you're going to be down, and you're going to have to make a comeback, which also plays into Matthew Stafford's favor a little bit.
Playing the time of possession game might actually be better for the Lions because I don't think getting into a shootout with Pat Mahomes is a good idea. I think that's how you get blown out very fast. Mm-hmm. So trying to somehow get the run game going and like the short passing game, they need to try to figure that out because they need to take up as much time as possible so Pat Mahomes doesn't have the ball and can't get hot and just sling it all over the place. I think the Chiefs win by like 20.
Well, we'll get to picks a little bit later, Malik. Way to jump the gun. All right, moving on. My Jets versus my perfect season pick, the New England Patriots, 30-14, respectable. Yeah, the Jets had nothing. Patriots played really well. Before we jump into the game, Antonio Brown is no longer a Patriot. He was released by the Patriots Saturday, I believe. He was released Saturday, and then as of today, enrolled in classes at Central Michigan University, and the day prior, tweeted he is officially done with the NFL. What is going on with Antonio Brown?
How many players in NFL history have gone through 2 teams in 2 months and then enrolled back in school? I think he might be the only football player to ever do something like that.
In all seriousness, though, I'm not going to joke about this because I feel like there's the potential that there could be something wrong with Antonio Brown. I don't know. There's this whole freak out. There's something up with it.
Well, I think he had a plan to get out of Oakland, and I think it worked. But
a little too well.
I don't think he didn't see the rape accusations coming and these messages coming out, which if those messages are real, he is so
which ones
ridiculously
wait, which ones?
Insane. There are text messages that came out of him like threatening the girl, like nonstop, like long messages.
Oh, really?
Yes. Like it's crazy. If he actually if it's real, he might.
And that's the whole problem that I have with the whole situation is that he has these investigations going on, and his agent and himself had been denying them, and that there was, these girls are just reaching. They're trying to get money out of Antonio Brown. If that's the case, and there's an investigation going on, wouldn't you want to keep your mouth shut?
Yes.
But instead, he decides to go and start texting and throwing threats out there. Again, we don't know if this is fully true. It's still under investigation. But you want to just be quiet because a lot of people were on Antonio Brown's side saying that this was weird timing. It didn't make sense. Let the investigation go through before anything happens. He would have been just fine. But he had to go out there. He had to possibly make these texts. And it just hurts himself more, and that's why he got released.
Exactly. The Patriots just don't cut people.
Right.
They go through calculated thought, and Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft, they know exactly what they're doing every trade, every time they sign somebody, every time they cut somebody. When they sign you for a reason. It's because they sign you because they know that you can help them win a Super Bowl. You are going to be a critical piece to them winning a championship. They knew Antonio Brown would get them a championship. Them cutting him this fast means
there's something up.
Exactly. Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick, I'm sure they have connections with people. I'm sure they figured things out. They know there's more to this than just accusations. They know he could possibly go away for something like this. So they cut ties with him immediately after one game. This is something the Patriots don't usually do, which is it has to be something like even more going on.
And I believe towards the end too, he had threatened Robert Kraft as well, I believe, was part of it, or he had said something about Kraft. I don't know if it was on social media or what.
He said he referenced Robert Kraft's like prostitute situation. He was saying like his situation and Robert Kraft's situation are like, he was saying like Robert Kraft was getting like he was able to get off, but they're like criticizing him for some.
Right.
I didn't pay attention to it. To me, you can't put those two things together.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Patriots won 30-14. They're gonna win again next week. We'll talk about them then.
The schedule is terrible, like through week 7.
Oh yeah. Minnesota just romped on the Raiders, 34-14. Minnesota's 2-1. Adam Thielen had a big game, 2 touchdowns. He had a rushing touchdown. That's cool to see. Raiders don't look good. What's your takeaways from this one, Malik?
I think it was a good game for the Vikings. I think Kirk Cousins needed that type of game. That offense needed that type of game where they could put up 34 points, and they know the defense is going to do what they do, but maintaining a consistent offensive attack, just not Dalvin Cook being pushed up the middle and being tossed the ball to go hopefully break off big runs. Getting Adam Thielen going, getting Stephon Diggs going, and getting your tight ends going. The rookie Irv Smith, he had a few good catches. They needed this type of game. Them having Oakland at this point early in the season was good for them, and hopefully this spins off into positives for them.
Joe, anything?
Yeah. What do you say about the Raiders, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, honestly, it still shows that the Vikings just are going to pound the ball every time with Dalvin Cook. They found a great backup in Madison, who seems to be running the ball well too. And then, Kirk Cousins will have his attempts, and as long as he's efficient, this offense will work, that's what he was on Sunday. But they're not going to have him throw 30 times a game. It's just not their offense. They're just going to run the ball. They're going to give Dalvin Cook 20 catches or 20 targets or touches, and then Madison's going to get 6 to 10, and they're just going to try to pound the ball every time, and then they're going to rely on their defense on the other end. The thing that's kind of exciting, though, about all this is that the NFC North is looking like it's the strongest division in the NFL right now. Just as far as
I would be upset if I were.
goes.
I'm upset as a Lions fan. I'd want it to be terrible. Give the Lions actually a chance to win the division.
Anyway.
What is that? No. Why are you excited that the NFC North is good?
No, it's just
bad.
It makes things interesting.
Well, it makes for good football.
It makes
even
for good
if
football,
it
doesn't make things interesting.
Even if I was a mega fan for the Lions, I wouldn't want everything to be terrible around them.
Yeah,
I want to see good football just as much as I want my team to win. I don't want to see poor football, but my team is they're great and everybody's trying.
You can watch good football. Okay, let's say the NFC North is good. Just don't win the games. Be good up until the end.
Wouldn't it be even better if the division was really good and the Lions still won the division? That'd be awesome.
Exactly.
That'd be a great thing to see.
Okay, let's stop wishful thinking now, guys. Okay. We got Raiders, Vikings. Game of the weekend. Ravens narrowly lost to the Chiefs, 33-28. Lamar Jackson that matchup, that's a game I did watch, or I at least saw most of the game on Rewind. Lamar versus Patrick Mahomes. Man, that was exciting. Lamar's last touchdown, evading defender after defender, spin move. Oh my gosh, he's the most exciting player in football next to Patrick Mahomes. Would you guys agree with that? Yeah.
Yeah, he's besides Michael Vick, there's no other quarterback in NFL history like him. Them two are the only quarterbacks that can get out of the pocket and make everybody NFL caliber talent defensive players look like high school players just because of how electric and elusive they are running the ball, and they can still stand in the pocket and drop dimes when they need to. But yeah, Patrick Mahomes, he's ushering in a new level of quarterback, and it's scary watching him play because the NFL shouldn't be that easy for a second-year quarterback. It makes no sense. Like, even a rookie quarterback shouldn't be throwing no-look passes. Like, what he was doing last year was insane with the 50. Even last year was a second year, I'm sorry. A third-year quarterback even. Football shouldn't look this easy. No. And the fact that it's like
it's his second year full-time
starting. He's not just throwing to open receivers. He's throwing guys open. He's putting balls exactly where they need to be. He's in complete command of everything they need to do. And Tyreek Hill being out really isn't meaning much.
They didn't miss a beat. They didn't miss a beat.
They drafted McCole Hardman from Georgia, who has 4.3 speed. He had a 70-yard touchdown and just burned the Ravens' defensive backfield. Demarcus Robinson is looking great out of nowhere. He's exploding. Sammy Watkins is looking like his young self. I mean,
they have the best tight end in the game in Travis Kelce.
Exactly. It seems like as long as they keep drafting talented guys and bringing in solid talent.
Who's the running back in Kansas City now?
LaShawn McCoy.
LaShawn McCoy and
Damian Williams.
I think it was actually a dude. I think his name was Darrell Williams.
Darrell Williams played because Damian Williams was hurt.
But yeah.
So Damian Williams a lot of the time will split time with LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy played a lot in this game, but then he did something to his ankle, so then Darrell Williams came in.
And they played well too. But Pat Mahomes is just raising the level of talent around him, and guys are making great plays whenever even if he throws a ball that's kind of out of reach. Like that one-hand catch by Demarcus Robinson was great, and I had never really heard of him before this season, but he's making great plays for Pat Mahomes. So yeah, that team is rolling right now.
Chiefs put up 25+ points for their 24th straight game. That's an NFL record. The Colts, they're 2-1. They beat the Falcons 27-24. They snapped a 5-game home opening losing streak. The Falcons,
they're in trouble.
They have so much potential. They have so much talent. Why are they struggling so much, Malik? Why?
This happens every other year. It's the same story. Injuries. First game, offensive line starts falling apart through injuries. Now Keanu Neal, I think he's out for the season. They're starting safety. Devontae Freeman is starting to look like age is hitting him for some reason.
He's not even old.
Like it's weird. He's not hitting the hole the same. He doesn't look as explosive. Ito Smith looks better in spurts than him. Because of the O-line, Matt Ryan isn't comfortable for most of the game, so he's floating balls. He's throwing bad balls, just trying to make plays. He has Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and Mohamed Sanu, one of the best first 3 receivers in the league for a quarterback. And it's hard for him to consistently make plays because of things are chaotic around him. He doesn't have time to sit back and just dissect the defense. He either has to, it's breaking down, throw it up to Julio, or young guys coming over the middle, let me chuck it to him. Like nothing comes easy for the Falcons. And it sucks to see that injuries and like bad O-line play break them down almost every other year when they have problems. The one year they were fully healthy, they made it to the Super Bowl. So yeah, it's weird to see how this happens all the time. It's almost like bad luck.
Yeah. Joey, anything you want to add to this matchup?
No. I mean, Indianapolis. I pulled a curse there. I mean, they're literally kind of like what we keep saying is that they run the ball a lot, and they're good at it. Their offensive line is great. Marlon Mack has been great. Their defense is still really solid. And Jacoby Brissett is a good quarterback, and they have weapons around him. The only now concern is that I guess T.Y. Hilton got banged up in the game, so that hurts them a little bit. But they got some guys in the back that can fill in nicely. But I think they're gonna still contend for a playoff spot because Jacoby Brissett's been in the league for a while. They have plenty of weapons, plenty of talent all around on both sides of the team. And they're just going to be competitive in a lot of games. So I don't think they're a team that you can really necessarily underestimate or just count out just because Andrew Luck doesn't play for them anymore.
Broncos at the Packers. Pack 3-0 now, won 27-16. Packer for real. They're my favorites as of now in the NFC North. They haven't been amazing. They haven't just been a show-stopping team like the Chiefs or anything like that. They've been steady. They've been doing their stuff under the radar. I feel like a lot of national media is not giving them maybe the recognition they deserve with how they're 3-0 to start the season. They look really good. This is a team you got to worry about, though. I think the Packers are going to be there at the end of the year.
100%. I honestly think this might be the team I've most been impressed by so far because
it's all business.
New head coach. How are him and Aaron Rodgers going to get together? You got a whole bunch of new young guys on the defense. You got young guys on offense. How is this all going to mesh? And they just keep figuring out ways to win. The offense hasn't even exploded yet. The young guys on defense are making plays already. Rashawn Gary looks good. Kevin King looks really good as a second or third year corner. I can't remember which one. But they've lost guys, but it looks like they've just reshuffled. And once the offense really starts to get going, that team, they might be scary. And they might be a contender that nobody saw coming. Because the fact that they have a new head coach and they're pulling out these gritty wins over and over again and just figuring out in good, consistent ways. Like you said, they're playing steady football. It's extremely encouraging. And they have a steady run game with Aaron Jones, which people knew he was solid, but I don't think people really expected. Him and Jamal Williams are a pretty good combo, so the Green Bay's looking really good so
far. Dolphins at the Cowboys. Yeah, Dolphins are a college football team. They look atrocious.
Josh Rosen made them look better in the first half.
They were in it for a little while, and then he just looked terrible after that.
31-6 Cowboys. Bengals, Bills. Bills are the best team in New York. 3-0. Bengals don't look the greatest, but Buffalo, Joe, your Bills, they going to the playoffs this year?
Is Josh Allen your quarterback?
Is Josh Allen?
I mean, he is right now, but he's getting better. The thing that helps them the most, at least, is that he is a mobile quarterback. That he's a dual threat, so he can get out of a lot of situations that are tough. John Brown has been huge for this team, I think. That was a great little addition that they made.
People sleep on John Brown.
Yeah.
He's an electric receiver.
He's a good, steady receiver that can give you big plays.
He's more than just good. I think he's underneath your elite status, of course. But
I don't know if he's there yet.
I said he's underneath.
That's why I still don't know if he's second tier, though. I got to see him do more consistently to get that.
Fair enough.
And, Frank Gore is Frank Gore.
How about him still running like he's young?
At his age. And the thing is that they're going to get better because Devin Singletary is eventually going to get healthy, and he's shown to be looking really good. And then Buffalo's defense is just always solid. They always play tough. I don't know. Their division is somewhat tough, so playoffs might be hard. But so far, 3-0.
You never know.
Looking pretty good, but they play New England this week? Yes, they play New England this week.
So there's their first loss.
That's the most interesting matchup until like week 8 for New England.
So that'll actually be a big test. We'll be able to find out like where Buffalo stands. I don't expect them to win the game, but if they can stay competitive, then we'll know a bit more.
Is it in Buffalo?
I don't know. I haven't looked that up.
I really hope it is. I'd like to see that game in Buffalo. To see that crowd
is in Buffalo.
Going, oh yeah, Bulls Mafia is going to be going nuts.
Bills,
my bad.
Man, who's
Bills
Chris
Mafia
today? You guys gotta come on, get to your standards.
Bills Mafia.
Giants, Buccaneers. Daniel Jones is my quarterback.
All right.
Are you serious?
He's my quarterback.
He's one of those hype
Jets
guys.
fan over here. He's hopping over to the other side.
No. I'm a Jets fan, but Daniel Jones,
my quarterback.
He's just fantastic. He's electric. Give him the keys. Get out of the way, Pat Shurmur. This man, the go-ahead rushing touchdown, electric. There's something special about this kid, guys. Something special.
I can't wait. Every year we just need to go back to the draft reactions because I didn't go as crazy as most people. I liked him coming out of Duke. I just thought the pick was crazy that he went that high. But I knew he was mobile.
I'm pretty sure I was just like tore them apart.
I knew he was mobile.
So please, Joey, if you can find that clip, insert it around here.
I knew he had a really good touch on his passes, but like most analysts say, at Duke, you don't get the best talent around you. So he had one of the biggest drop rates out of receivers in the country. His O-line, he used to get hit a whole bunch, so his passes weren't always accurate. But the guy, he comes into the league 6'5", 220, great size to build on. He has fantastic touch. He has the David Cutcliffe connection, so he's brought up pro quarterbacks, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning. He's smart, and he's not afraid, as he's showing now. I mean, pressure in his face. He knows when to take off. He knows what like passes to throw. He doesn't have a big arm, so that might be something that starts to hurt him in the next few weeks. When he's expected to make big throws, he could somewhat float him, and there'll probably be some more picks. But what a start, and what a depressing loss for the Buccaneers.
Well, and the good thing is, Jameis finally having a good game.
Yeah.
The thing is, too, we're going to see a big sample size of Daniel Jones because the Giants' defense is awful.
Gross.
And they're literally going to have to just throw the ball to come back in games like this a lot. So it's going to give Daniel Jones a lot of reps. So we're going to figure out pretty quickly if this is, the real Daniel Jones or if this was just, a good welcome party. But so far, so good. Definitely, I feel good for Giants fans and football fans, I guess, in general, because it's a cool story if it works out, if it keeps turning out this way, to prove everybody wrong. But, yeah, I do feel bad for Tampa Bay a little bit.
Yeah, Mike Evans had a ridiculous day.
Mm-hmm.
I want Mike Evans to go to another team because he's being wasted in Tampa Bay. He can be a championship receiver on some team because he's too good for Jameis going up and down every week.
Maybe he's the next Patriots target.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Panthers beat up on the Cardinals 38-20. Not much just in this one that we really need to discuss.
Backup quarterback played well, Kyle Allen.
Is he gonna? Okay.
Listen, the Cardinals' defensive backfield is going to make a lot of quarterbacks look good.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But he played well nonetheless.
Right. No,
Anybody
he
going to
looked pretty
start
good.
calling for Cam to sit out?
No, because when he's healthy, he's going to play.
Exactly. People making up these quarterback debate stuff already is ridiculous.
Yeah. Cam will play if he's healthy.
49ers won 24-20. Pittsburgh's 0-3.
That game
49ers are 3-0 for the first time since 1998.
That game was really a snooze fest, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But Jimmy Garoppolo fumbled like 4 times. The Steelers could only make big plays like every 5 or 6 drives. That Steelers prediction is blowing up in my face. I'm already just.
I was gonna say,
I'm just gonna say that right now. But I like how Mason Rudolph looked at times. He made some really good throws. He was he was good in the pocket when he wasn't getting rushed a lot. But yeah, Steelers.
It looks like
them in Cincinnati might be struck. I think they're going to beat Cincinnati when it comes to it, but yeah, they're not going to be very good.
that Monday night game.
Oh my god!
Yikes! But
What's the Monday night game?
That game.
Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
The picks they make for games before the season, it's so funny.
And the Steelers, James Conner has looked nowhere near what he did last year when he filled in for Le'Veon Bell.
It's weird.
Not good. And then they didn't even give a touch to their backup Jalen Samuels in this game, it's interesting.
I also think it might be time for Tomlin to go soon, but I don't know if Steelers fans want to have that conversation right now.
Saints beat up on the Seahawks 33-27. I was surprised by this one. Their Saints, their first win without Brees starting since 2005. I think we all picked Seattle in this game. I could be wrong.
Yeah, we did.
But, I was surprised they put up 33 points. Alvin Kamara had a big game that really helped them lead to victory in this one, but nothing really much after that.
Russell Wilson had a big game and they still lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that team is just in a weird place right now.
They're 2-1 at least.
But the fact that he can play that well in the team without their starting quarterback and still be that defense is on and off right now. They need to just stay on the on switch and stop clicking off sometimes.
Texans outscored the Chargers 20-3 in the second half, and they won 27-20. That was a choke job by I was gonna say San Diego, but the LA Chargers. I was high on the Chargers early this year. I don't know if I'm gonna go back on that soon. I could see myself. I don't know.
They've had a lot of injuries. They've had a lot of issues.
And they usually surge later on in the season too. They're usually a team that just pops up as a wild card. It just comes out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, the Chargers in the playoffs. Okay, so
they've played some tough teams. They played the Texans. They played the Lions.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson. People need to stop sleeping on him.
Who's sleeping on Deshaun Watson?
I was gonna say I don't know if anybody's sleeping on him anymore.
People are not talking about him being a top 5 quarterback potentially.
Really?
That kid, I still have not heard the conversations of
I think he's top 3.
Deshaun
Me
Watson.
too.
I think people need to have like daily conversations about how good he is because it's ridiculous with those O-line struggles and he's still balling like that. Yeah.
Is it time to hit the panic button if you're a Browns fan?
Yes.
2013, Freddie Kitchens does not look good. Baker Mayfield has no help in the. I mean, he's getting like you talked pre-show. That offensive line does not look good, and that was my biggest issue with the Browns going into this year. How is that offensive line going to look? We got our answer so far.
It's crumbled in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
and the mix of the play calling in that O line, Baker might. There's a really good chance he regresses this season.
Yeah,
and it's not his fault. It won't be on him. He's still a good quarterback.
I think overall though he hasn't looked as good though. I know he's been more pressured, but I don't think he's looked the same as he did last year.
Yeah, it's the fact that even last year he held on to the ball too long, but there were times when his O-line would somewhat crumble. He'd hold on to the ball, get out, and find somebody open. Now it seems like he's holding on to the ball, but he's trying to stay inside the pocket, and then when he tries to run out, it's too late. And like the rare times when they call a good play and somebody gets open, he gets too excited and either overthrows it or like throws it too short, or he just makes the wrong call. Like that play when he missed Jarvis Landry going into the end zone, he predetermined that he was going to throw it to the tight end on that play. And as soon as the play happened, he didn't see Jarvis coming right open right under him. So yeah, it's that Baker and Freddie connection. I don't know how they're going to fix it. Freddie Kitchens is looking bad out here. He's looking really bad. That 4th and 9 draw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's a terrible call.
Yeah. And the Rams aren't even looking that great so far, but they're
Gurley
still
had a bad game too.
They're still winning, so this is good for them.
Yeah, 3-0. And then your Monday night game was the Bears beating up on the Redskins 31-15. Game started with a pick 6 by the Bears defense. Bears could be turning the corner here. Yes, Mitch Trubisky isn't the best, but that defense is elite.
I predicted this would be one of the really good games he had because you can never really trust the Redskins, and Mitch Trubisky is going to have his handful of really good games. So yeah, last one was the one that boosted his confidence. That Bears defense is ridiculous, and get Case Keenum out of there.
That was bad last night, even though they still almost made a comeback later in the game. Yeah, Case Keenum threw some really bad passes for being as efficient as he was last year, and even a little bit in the beginning of this year. I'm very surprised that Washington didn't throw Haskins in towards the end of that game.
At the start of the second half, I think they should have threw him in just for some sort of spark.
Right. So I would say they're close to bringing in Haskins, which I'm going to be super excited to see that because Terry McLaurin is real deal.
Yeah.
And he definitely like sparked the somewhat comeback that Washington made last night. So I'd like to see what Haskins can do with that offense, if he can change anything at all. Because Washington's kind of like yeah, their record is not good, but at times like they seem decent, like they could win some games, and they've stayed close in a lot of their games. They just can't get that winning mentality, I guess.
Yeah, they have enough players to go like 8-8,
right?
Or like 7-9 and look decent, but yeah.
Yeah. And again, I don't know if this really shows what Chicago's truly made of because, again, it's the Redskins. But the pressure that they put on a quarterback that's for real. And that's frightening. But the thing is, too, like this Chicago team is not as scary because I feel like their running game, they're having a real hard time to get it figured out. They have a lot of different backs, which they've done in the past as well.
Yeah, the rotation doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, whereas before it was like Jordan Howard, Terry Cohen, and then they'd split those guys up. Now it's David Montgomery, Tariq Cohen, and what's the other one? Mike Davis. So they have like 3 different running backs they kind of throw in there. So that's kind of the iffy part. And Trubisky just, even though he had a better game last night, he still doesn't look super solid. So their defense is going to have to win games for them, which they're totally capable of doing. But again, it makes the NFC North very interesting, the way all these teams function.
All right, it's time to get into our picks to wrap up the show here. Heading into week 4, standings are as follows. In your cellar, that's me with 26.
Ooh, yeah.
The middle ground man, that's Malik.
Boo.
With 31. And Joey, topping the charts with
Once
36. Hats off to Joe. He's doing a swell job so far this year. Now let's get into it.
Some sarcasm.
No. That was truthful.
What?
Nothing.
I'm just not surprised.
I like the cockiness. Keep it up.
Saying that's cocky. Philly at Green Bay for your Thursday night matchup. Joey, what do you got?
I'm going with Green Bay to lose their first game.
Oh,
going with the upset.
Okay. Malik, who do you have?
I think Green Bay keeps it rolling.
And I got Philly.
Carson Wentz with those young receivers. Too many drops. The chemistry isn't totally there. Green Bay is feeling themselves.
Titans at Atlanta. Do the Falcons get it together? No, give me the Titans.
I'm going Falcons.
Joey?
I keep picking the Falcons.
I think Matt Ryan has
That's why I went with the Titans.
I think Matt Ryan has a really good day.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Falcons just because I think their upside is better, and both of these teams are very inconsistent.
All right, let's put Joey's fanhood to the test here. New England at Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Stop it,
I'm
Joe.
going to call
really?
I'm just going to go for it. It's one of those games.
I am going to go Buffalo too.
Are you serious? You guys are dumb.
I don't think New England's going 16-0.
Yes, they are.
Like 14-2 is like probable, and this could be one of the games they lose because I don't think they're losing any of the games after this. Buffalo is not a bad team, and
not a good one.
With it in Buffalo,
but I mean,
it'll be interesting.
New England has played Miami, Jets.
Yeah,
Jets are a good team.
Who else did they play? Steelers?
No.
I can't remember.
Yeah. They haven't played a mobile quarterback like Josh Allen yet, so he could rush for like 80, 90 yards.
All right, Joe, are you going to pick the Lions in our next matchup too?
Wait, Chris, did you pick New England?
Yes.
Okay.
KC at Detroit. Joey.
I'm gonna pick Detroit. I don't think they're gonna win. I'll be honest. I don't think they're gonna win. But I'm just gonna go with it, and maybe the home field advantage thing works.
Malik.
Chiefs.
Yeah. Same here. Oakland at Indiana. Indianapolis. Dang it. I almost had a perfect show.
Colts.
Yeah, Indy.
Yeah, I got Colts too. That means the Raiders are gonna win.
No, sir.
San Diego at Miami. Or San Diego.
LA.
Here's the Chris everybody knows.
Chargers are winning.
Can somebody Joe pick Miami?
I can't.
The Dolphins are going to own 16, man.
Do you think
unless
that,
they play the Raiders,
they might beat the Jets.
I don't know.
That's a low blow. That's a low blow.
The Jets defense is going to give them problems.
That's true.
Redskins at the Giants. How do you not
Daniel
pick the Giants?
Jones?
How do you not
pick?
pick?
In a row.
Yeah, how do you not pick
it's
Daniel
in New York.
Jones?
I'm going Daniel Jones.
This is where Washington needs to start Haskins.
And
Haskins versus Daniel Jones would be cool.
Mitch Trubisky lit them up
thinking,
last
Joe?
night, so Daniel.
I'm going
Giants.
with Washington just because I think their receivers are pretty good, and the Giants secondary is bad.
The Browns at Baltimore. I'm picking Baltimore. I have the Browns going 1-3.
Yeah, Ravens.
Yeah.
Joe?
Yep, Baltimore.
Carolina at the Texans.
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 This one's kind of interesting. Houston's defense hasn't been as good as I thought they were going to be. I'm going to go with Houston still, I guess. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if they somehow...
Tampa Bay at the Rams. That's a Rams win.
I'm going with Tampa Bay.
Malik?
The Rams have been figuring out ways to win, but they haven't been sharp at all. Jameis coming off a big game.
Got to ride Jameis while he's hot.
Mike Evans is
Who's
playing
Jameis?
really
You mean
well.
Crab legs?
Yes.
That defense looks so bad against Daniel Jones.
It did, though. It really did.
Rams.
Seattle at Arizona. Seattle.
Ooh, another battle of the birds.
When will the
Can
Cardinals
Kyler
are still
get a
winless,
win?
right?
What?
You said the Cardinals are
Yeah.
still winless,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
0-2-1.
Russell Wilson against those Cardinals defense. Yeah, Seattle.
Seattle. Did we all pick Seattle?
Yeah. Minnesota at Chicago.
It's a big game.
Chicago.
This is tough. I'm going Minnesota. I'm going
Minnesota, too. Just because of the clock management.
Jacksonville at Denver. Oh, give me Gardner. Easy.
Jacksonville at Denver. Denver's still winless, right?
Yeah.
I'm going Denver. I think eventually they're going
to. You said it's at Denver?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going with Denver.
I think they're going to bench Joe Flacco in the next few weeks and play the rookie. But
having the Florida guys going up to Colorado, that's tough.
They're going to be winded.
Cowboys at the Saints. I'm going to go Dallas. There's a mic in front of you, Malik.
I'm going to go Dallas as well.
We shouldn't keep picking the same games, so I'm just going to go Saints.
I've been going different today.
I think I'm just going to go Saints. Surprise game.
And then the Monday night thriller.
Jeez.
Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Give me the Bengals.
Joe Mixon finally had a good game.
Bengals.
The saddest Monday night game ever.
I'll go with Pittsburgh to be different. I don't really care about this game, though.
Who cares? Who cares about this
game? Do Bengals and Steelers fans really care about this game?
I don't think they do.
Maybe for bragging rights because they hate each other.
Is Lions-Chiefs the big game of the weekend?
No.
The big game of the weekend?
Yeah.
It's New England.
Buffalo. New England and Buffalo?
Yeah.
I mean,
New England, Buffalo, and
Cleveland, Baltimore.
No.
Yes.
Cleveland's looked bad.
Vikings, Bears is going to be a
that's
pretty big one. Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for the show this week. We gave Malik the floor to break down his Michigan fanhood and why Harbaugh is going to be out. Next week, we'll break down more football and get into some NBA preview talk. The season's just around the corner, and the Pistons are going to be the 2020 NBA champions.
Don't say that.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Buffalo and Detroit could be undefeated.
What if they actually lose to Rutgers? But Michigan State loses to Indiana, too?